Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this latest QGate webinar, where our focus is on the unique set of challenges faced by recruitment businesses and how CRM automation can improve workflows. My name is Josh Dallywell, and I am one of two hosts on this call today, and I'm currently joined by Alistair, who is the MD of QGate. And in the wings, we have my colleague Yasmin Cooper, who will be keeping an eye on the chat for your feedback and also your questions. Yas, do you want to say a quick hello?
Yeah. Hi everyone. Yes, I'm Yas. I'm the marketing executive at QGate. So throughout the webinar, feel free to pop your questions in the Q&A, and we'll go over all questions at the end.
Brilliant, and we will be coming back to Alistair in just a moment. It's worthwhile mentioning that this webinar is being recorded, so please don't worry about making notes. We will be making a copy of the video available both on our website and our YouTube channel. Yes, hopefully by the end of this week. And you should all receive an email notifying you that it is up and available. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, I assume you're also keeping an eye on the lobby and letting people in as they join.
Yeah. Just another guest, Daniel.
Excellent. If you are watching this as a recording and you have any questions, then please feel free to use my contact details that I will be sharing during the course of this webinar to reach out with those questions directly. Alistair, do you want to say a quick hello?
Good afternoon. My name is Alistair Jupp. I'm MD here at QGate. I also have an active role in consulting on client business processes as part of our project mechanism. Seen the inner workings of many businesses, large and small, from every type of industry. And whilst they all profess to be unique and different, their processes are surprisingly similar. Same pain points, same challenges. However, I would say recruitment is one of the few that do differ from the others, and we'll get into some of that detail as we go through today.
Fantastic. Actually, one of the things I love about this job is the sheer different types of businesses. Some of them very niche, and very focused that we get to talk to and deal with. Okay. Now I notice that most of the names of the registrants on this webinar are new to QGate. So for everyone's benefit, just to really kind of a quick introduction into QGate and who we are. We are essentially a operational efficiency and CRM consultancy that specializes in the use of Dynamics 365 and Power Apps to help solve our clients' business problems. We essentially believe that technology should work for you and not the other way around. And we're passionate about helping businesses streamline their processes and improve their customer relationships through the power of automation and CRM. And our goal is to empower our clients to focus on what they do, which is running their businesses. Now, we typically work with business owners, heads of operations, or IT managers in small to medium-sized organizations and businesses. And some of the things that they tell us is that they're either scared that they're being left behind by digital developments and are unable to scale their businesses with the systems that they have. They're annoyed at how difficult it is to extract any kind of meaningful data from the business on which to make decisions because it's all locked up in multiple spreadsheets or multiple systems, or that they worry they will lose customers because their processes are too cumbersome and they lack automation and workflows. So that's just really kind of a quick introduction into QGate. And if you'd like to know more, then again, please feel free to reach out to any one of the hosting team here. Now, over the next 20-25 minutes, the key things that we want to cover today are really kind of the unique challenges faced by recruitment businesses. And this is obviously an area that, as Alistair just alluded to there, that we have some experience in, and also how automation and workflows can help address those common issues and bottlenecks that many of you may already be seeing in your businesses, and what tools are available to improve the way you work. I will at some point be handing over to Yaz to help me with any questions or comments you've submitted. If you're not already familiar with Microsoft Teams, you might do well just to have a quick look at the toolbar and locate the chat icons on the main toolbar. Now, one of the things that I don't want to dwell too long on is this really kind of first slide, because I'm sure you're all well aware of the unique challenges faced by businesses in your industry. But I'm also aware that we have partners who specialise in all aspects of IT who are also interested in this webinar, and whether or not they have recruitment clients, they've cited it as something useful to cover off. At QGate, our experience of the recruitment industry comes from businesses like yours coming to us with a problem that they'd like to see solved. So in no way is it meant to be a comprehensive list, but those that we are aware of from those conversations that we have with prospects. And kind of the first one that I want to talk about here is really talking about kind of attracting and engaging the right candidates. They're essentially the lifeblood of any recruitment business, and really kind of managing not only the client personal data, but also their qualifications, their experience, availability, salary expectations, work preferences, and making all of this information searchable and be able to cross-reference it with the requirements that you have from the employers that you work with. Communication is another important factor, not only as part of the recruitment workflow, but also ensuring that both candidates and employers have a positive experience, but also that they are kept up to date on progress, and this comes in a timely manner. Traditionally, this is a crucial aspect of the whole recruitment process, because it is the aspect of the recruiter's business that can win and lose you candidates and employers. And there has to be a balance between the notifying respective parties of where they are in the process, and also the softer communication skills of relationships and building trust, etc. I touched upon just very briefly there the importance of managing communication as part of the recruitment pipeline, but there's also visibility of the pipeline, which may not just be for internal use, but you want to ensure that employers can see where you're at with filling their vacancy and how many candidates that you have in the pipeline. And similarly, candidates may need to have some visibility of the stages completed and where they sit. And I see kind of elements of this quite similar to conveyancing, which is the process that your solicitor has to follow when you buy or sell a house. And there are multiple parties, which may include the client, the estate agent, and other parties, solicitors, all vying to know what's going on and what stage the workflow is at, for their own peace of mind and knowing that you'll complete on time. Obviously, an essential part of any business is being able to access data and make reporting as quick and as accurate as possible. With the whole recruitment process, you want to report on the best sources of applications, the speed of process to highlight any bottlenecks, also things like the diversity of your applicants, etc. Now, I think at this point it'd also be useful to know from our attendees if there are other common challenges that I haven't managed to cover off here. You, after all, are the experts, and we can try and share those later on during the session. So if you have anything that you want to add, then please feel free to use the chat function, and Yaz will be keeping an eye out for that. Okay. So how can automation improve or help recruiters with these challenges? I guess one of the things I want to start with here is picking up on a regular theme of what Microsoft is focusing on, which is how do you do more with less? And recruitment in particular is one of those areas that traditionally has always been very kind of people intensive. Many of the recruiters I've worked with in my work life, either as a candidate or as an employer, have been with, in some cases, single person businesses who have constraints in their business because there are only so many vacancies that they can manage, so many conversations they can have. And in essence of their business has been personal relationships. And really kind of doing more with less is about maximizing the return from your IT investments, whilst also acknowledging that rising economic costs and it's really kind of putting pressure on businesses to try and reduce costs and also increase efficiency. And having systems in place that seamlessly allow data to flow through your organization, reducing the number of manual interactions, is one way to do more with less. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the abbreviations BPA and RPA, which are short for Business Process Automation and Robotic Process Automation, they both play a vital role in improving workflow efficiency. Okay, and again, that can be applied to recruitment business. So by automating repetitive and time-consuming tasks such as CV screening, interview scheduling, reference checks, automation allows recruiters to focus on high-value, people-centric activities such as candidate assessment and client relationship management, and less on administrative tasks. Okay. Reducing errors. Automated workflow systems ensure that a recruitment process follows standardized procedures, reducing the risk of errors and ensuring consistency across the organization. So with things like CV screening and skill matching, automated systems can scan CVs and applications, extracting relevant information such as skills, experience, qualifications. And by using predefined criteria, these systems can filter out unqualified candidates, reducing the chance of human oversight or bias in the screening stage. Automated tools can compare the skills and qualifications of candidates with the requirements for the job. And by analysing keywords and contextual information, these tools can identify the best matches, ensuring recruiters don't overlook qualified candidates or mistakenly shortlist unsuitable ones. Between the many steps of the hiring process and the number of people involved, losing a CV or missing an email, forgetting a reference or a background check, or scheduling an interview for the wrong time are easy mistakes to make that could have a significant impact on your ability to hire the ideal candidate. Okay, communication. So CRM automation plays a crucial role improving just that, client relationship management, and automated communication tools can send personalized emails to candidates at different stages of the recruitment process, providing updates on the application status, next steps, relevant information, outstanding information. This keeps candidates informed and reduces the likelihood of miscommunication or missed notifications, whilst also removing those as manual tasks from the recruiter to focus on really kind of the human value add that each one of you adds to your businesses. And I'm sure you don't need me to sit here and tell you about the importance of compliance in your industries. Having one place where you store, manage, handle all client data and communication that's permission-based and requires a secure login helps with GDPR and security, but also you can enable checks at various stages in the recruitment flow to ensure documentation is checked, the candidate has the required right to work or references, visas, and you have the required consents. You can also add and track various types of compliance documentation checks, such as proof of ID, visa status, qualifications, certifications, and if anything has been missed. Okay. And really kind of extending on from this whole idea of doing more with less, a lot of the businesses that we work with are ambitious, and they want to ensure that the systems and processes that they put in place now will help their businesses grow. Okay, and so then they need to ensure that they're scalable, and businesses, so simply, so if your target is to grow revenue by 50%, it doesn't necessarily mean increasing your headcount and your costs by 50%. I mean, scalability is about handling larger volumes of applicants, a large number of applications, shortlisting candidates more efficiently, and managing multiple hiring pipelines simultaneously, ensuring scalability without sacrificing quality. Okay. Now, one of the things that we've seen, and this is something certainly Alistair has seen, is a number of lists that have been shared internally of clients' requirements from a CRM and automation when it comes to recruitment businesses. And some are quite exhaustive. I don't know how much of what's on my screen on this particular slide that you can all read, but it includes things like transcribing write-up of notes after interview conversations, introducing self-service capability for candidates to update and manage their own data, onboarding new recruitment staff and getting them up to speed in processes and procedures, identifying duplicate candidates in systems, and inbound and outbound call automation, matching candidates to roles, the ability to communicate using not only kind of email but text and in some cases WhatsApp as well. But rather than talk at a granular level of all the possibilities, I want to bring in Alistair at this point as someone who spends a lot of time working with our clients to scope out their needs and look at the solutions available, but also sit down with them to identify the bottlenecks in their business, which is obviously causing them to be inefficient or restricting their growth. And I know that you've been working with one of our largest recruitment clients recently, so I'm going to hand over this next screen to you, and I'm gonna kind of flag up the kind of things that you want to cover off here. Yeah, over to you, Alistair.
Thank you, Josh. So unsurprisingly, the most common features we tend to hear align almost directly to the challenges that Josh has mentioned. But just before I go into this, I think it's important to highlight the differences in a recruitment business to a standard business. Firstly, you have two unique types of clients, right? You have customers and you have candidates. One's B2B, one's B2C. They are very different relationships that need to be managed, right? Of course, with two different clients, you've then got two different workflows that you then have to take that client on through your system, through your business, through your system. And at some point, those two workflows need to converge and ultimately, hopefully, place someone in a job. And then just to make matters worse, on top of that, you've got lots and lots of uncontrolled, unstructured incoming data, which needs to be processed, right? So CVs, covering letters, interview notes, job specs, the list goes on. So essentially, in recruitment, you have double the pain of most standard businesses out there. Most businesses have a single workflow where they take a lead to an order, right? And you guys got these two parallel processes. So CV processing, although I've labeled it CV processing, it actually encompasses any type of long form content that's coming into the business. Maybe 50%. I'm sure I'm underestimating that of the words on that CV are just not important. They're irrelevant. Even terms like the and there, you can strip all those out and focus on extracting the keywords and the key phrases that are relevant in a job match. Moving on to candidate and vacancy matching, this enables the automated extraction, matching and extraction of candidates and essentially shortlisting them against a role that comes into your business. And with the advancements of AI, this is becoming much more reliable than it has been in the past. You've then got your real-time and multi-channel communication. Candidates especially are demanding communications via a variety of different channels, whether it be WhatsApp, email, and you've also got your internal communications where pop-ups, emails, again, even maybe text or mobile applications. And obviously, then you're looking at getting your pipeline filled with candidates and roles. So using your own data to profile what great looks like for you for a business, and then using that profile to systematically and proactively acquire more of the same is really important. And then finally, which is less of a feature and more of an action that goes alongside implementing a system, which is the process of optimizing your business process. You need to document, you need to understand it. Technology on its own will not fix problems. It's the people and the process enabled by the technology that's what makes a positive change in business. And so making this very important part of any CRM. And if I was just to put some parting guidance on the end of this, no matter what features you choose, make sure you engage your teams in the decision making, and make sure those features do both these things. The first one being improve employee experience. If you improve employee experience, you make them happier, more effective. You free them up to create great customer experience, to focus on going that extra mile for clients, and they're not spending all their time doing the administration. That's what a CRM should do for you, and that's what automation should do for you. Back to you, Josh.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Alistair. And I think some of the things that you've talked about there really kind of echo one of the clients that Yaz and I was talking to earlier this week, which is it's okay to have kind of technology in place, but it has to work for the people, essentially at the coal face. And the client that we were talking to faced the option of the challenge of growing their business, and one of the first considerations people think about when thinking about growing their business is adding more in terms of the number of people to the business, but then if the processes aren't in place, essentially what you're also doing is adding to not only to the headcount but also the cost of the business without necessarily making everybody more efficient. Just one other quick thing I want to touch on, Alistair, which has just come into my head just as you were talking. Obviously, we deal with different types of clients, but I think there's a client that we're working with in the recruitment sector that particularly works with temporary staff, which I think kind of throws up its own challenges, because it's about kind of the speed of the hire, especially if you've got somebody calling up and saying, I need someone today.
Temporary staff has, I would say, additional requirements that goes alongside. The speed of finding the right person and matching with is obviously essential, but also you become almost a resource allocation element to that as well, where you're looking at availability, almost like a traditional field service kind of operation, where you're trying to match roles, but you're trying to find people who are available, and that real-time communication becomes really, really important in that space.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I hadn't really given much thought to, but yeah, essentially you could have somebody on the phone who's a client and saying, I need, I need a member of staff, literally within a couple of hours to start, because they've had somebody not show or etc., or somebody's off sick. Okay, fantastic. I want to bring in Yaz at this point, because I guess this is the point at which we hand over to our audience here for any questions. Yes, is there any comments or feedback that you want to share from our audience? You might be on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, we've got one question. So what are your thoughts on recruitment specific CRMs?
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess firstly, I'm not an expert on recruitment software or recruitment specific kind of CRMs specifically, but I think you need to look at some of this, and I guess some of this echoes what we've covered in our last webinar, where we talked about kind of ensuring anything that you deploy today being future-proof in terms of scaling as you grow as a business. Does it integrate with other systems that you have in place? Is customization important to you? And I think kind of this is one of the reasons that why we kind of focus on Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM and the Power Platform of tools, because you have the solid foundation of something that's integrates with your Office suite. It's going to integrate with SharePoint, it integrates with Outlook and Teams, and yet it's customizable for you and how you want to work today, but also how you want to work in the future. So it can also house your marketing, emailing, and automation, as well as incorporate customer service and also potentially connect to your accounting system. And as we know, Microsoft is investing tens of millions into its CRM functionality year on year, and it's something that's not going to go away. So, how does it compare with something that I guess is built specifically for recruitment? The only thing I would warn against is people thinking about going away and kind of developing their own software, developing their own CRM. Over the years, I've seen so many businesses go down this path, and it's not pretty. There's a real expertise to developing software and ensuring it continues to work on newer devices, new operating systems, and multiple browsers, and that's without looking at new features. So I think if at all possible, try and avoid going down that path. But I should just quickly add that we will, in the coming weeks, have a brand new out of the box pre-provisioned recruitment CRM, which is built in Microsoft Dynamics available. And if you're interested in learning more about that, then please let me or Yaz or Alistair know. Okay, actually, I should on that point just actually quickly just flash up my contact details, so you've got my email address there as well. And any other questions or feedback?
No, that's all.
Okay, fantastic. We are virtually bang on time. We will, as I mentioned earlier, be sharing a copy of the video recording, so please keep an eye out for that link. Feel free to share that internally, and that's also for the people that potentially joined late or missed the session altogether. As I mentioned, anyone watching this as a live session or recording and you'd like to discuss your CRM requirements or automation, or you just want to have a little chat about what we specialize here here at QGate, then please feel free to reach out to me directly on the email address that you see on the screen in front of you. And I just want to quickly thank my colleague Alistair and to Yaz for keeping an eye on the chat and your questions. And thank you all for joining us here today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.